China, I don't know, wherever
the
you're
world?
watching from. Thanks for tuning in, but I guarantee you will be happy that you did. I'm Brian Skronsky. I'm going to be your host today, and we've got a jam-packed lineup. It's going to be a show that's a ton of fun. Travis Berardi is here with me. We're going to actually fill out a bracket live on air for you guys today. We're also going to break down what we saw this past week for the boys and the girls in high school basketball. Justin Greenfelder is going to be calling in from the Dalton Bulldogs after a historic season for them. And then also Chris and Natalie Hershberger are going to be coming right in here in studio to talk a little bit of Tae Kwon Do and everything going down at Black Belt Pro Fitness. But hey, Trav, man, how was your weekend? I know that you got to go down some country roads back home. How'd everything work out?
I went to a cool brewery, had some great wings, watched my Mountaineers get into the tournament. Sorry, North Carolina and you, Brian, just one of the first four out, just that much. One more, I think that if you would have beaten Virginia, I think it would have clinched you. You would be probably playing in Dayton too, so I bet you would have gotten tickets. But anyway, it was a good weekend. Nice to get a couple days off after the tournament trail that we've had. We've been busting our tail ends, all of us here, the last couple of weeks, and pretty successful too.
Yeah, no question. And I'm glad that you brought up playing in Dayton, because that's a perfect segue here to our first topic of the day. And only 4 teams in the entire state of Ohio can say that they are state champions when it's all said and done at the end of the season. And each of those teams cut down some nets at UD Arena over the weekend, Travis. So I'll let you kind of take this one away and fill in the folks at home about who took home the big trophy this year from state competition.
Yeah, we'll get through all 4 state championships real quick here. Purcell Marion, the player of the year in Ohio, D. Alexander, put 35-plus up in the semifinal for their victory, and then she puts up 20 in the state championship to lead all scores. They knocked off Canal Fulton Northwest. Purcell Marion winning the state championship 57-48. It was a 9-9 first quarter. They then outscored Canal Fulton Northwest by 6 in the second quarter, and that was pretty much the difference in this game. But D. Alexander finished a double-double in the state championship game too, 20 and 10.
Just a sophomore.
Yeah, just a sophomore, and the best player in Ohio coming back for 2 more years. That team, Purcell Marion, was in the state Final Four last year as well. So they'll be a force to reckon with here the next couple of years. D4. Tri-Village completes the 30-0 season. They knocked off Toledo Christian 52-50. It was close. Actually, Tri-Village was up big after 2 quarters, but Toledo Christian tried coming back. They outscored Tri-Village by 5 in the fourth quarter, but they needed to do it by 7. 52-50 was the score there. Riley Sagaster, 20 points to lead all scorers. Mackenzie Royal Davis from Toledo Christian, though, 20 points as well in a losing effort. One of the, I guess you could say, area teams still left playing was Chippewa, WCAL squad, going up against powerhouse Columbus Afrocentric. However, Afrocentric outscored them 27-13 in the first quarter. 27 points.
That's a big start.
Yeah, that's a big start. However, Chippewa put up 24 in the third quarter, 24-17, but it was a little too late. 75-62 was the final. 4 players in double figures for Afrocentric.
Wow.
3 players for Chippewa, but great season for the Chips.
Sure.
Knocked off Margaretta in the state semifinal to get to that point. And then finally, the D1 game. Our buddy Joe Roberts, former AD at Lexington, now down at Cincinnati Princeton, and they knocked off Olmsted Falls 69-51 for the state championship. 17-16 first, but then a 17-9 second quarter gave Princeton the championship. They had 4 scores in double figures, a fourth with 9 points. All 5 of their starters pretty much played the whole game as well. And when you get 5 players pretty much double figures, that's going to do the job. Danielle Cameron for Olmsted Falls led the scores with 22 points. Just not enough, though. So congratulations to Princeton. And Joe Roberts putting up another state championship banner down there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, big kudos to all 4 of those state championship teams, and especially the undefeated team. How cool is that to go 30-0? Unbelievable stuff where you never even taste defeat once. Gosh, that's got to be such a satisfying victory at the end of it to cap it off. Trav down in Dayton.
Absolutely.
And for the gentlemen, they're going to be down there, of course, this weekend, and we will crown 4 state champions as well. But we want to reflect back and look at what we just saw a week ago at the regionals, and I'll let you go first. You can talk about Division III up at Bowling Green. You got to take in a pair of the semifinal games with some teams that, I mean, at least one might end up cutting down the nets when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I did the highlight myself and Hayden up there. I pretty much lived in Bowling Green this past week. We had some really good games up there. I did Wayne Trace and Canton Central Catholic, and that game went down to the wire. Wayne Trace pulled off the victory by 4, but there was a couple times Canton Central Catholic had a chance to take the lead, but just couldn't do it. Really good game. You want to watch the highlight? We have the highlights on our Facebook and YouTube pages pretty much forever, whenever you want to watch that. And then Hayden also had OG. They're so good themselves, winning their game. We also did what was it, Sandusky?
Yeah, we did.
The game you had. Really good game.
Yeah, Division II, like you said, we just set up camp. We had some cots in the back out there at Bowling Green State University, and we took in all of the action, and that was a really fun one. We had 2 of the top 4 teams in the state, or 2 of the top 5, I should say. Sandusky was number 4. They had won 20 in a row. They were looking to continue their win streak, but just wouldn't happen. Lutheran West, the number 5 team in the state, just too good, and they had some really, really good players. A lot of good height, some great length. They had the CVC Player of the Year in Jason Levis, and that dude was unbelievable. And just a junior, too. So what I think is really cool about a lot of these games that we got an opportunity to cover this last week is that there's some young nucleuses out there, and some teams are going to be loaded again moving forward into next season, Trav.
And we have to talk about our Mohawk Warriors as well. They played down there. Tough night for AJ Hess. He was held scoreless in that game, but they put up quite the fight against Convoy Crestview, who free throws at the buzzer pretty much put them into the state Final Four. Also, Lutheran West, team that beat Sandusky, they're in the state Final Four as well, OG. So the teams that we covered up at BG, they're still playing. Although we get a rematch, OG Afrocentric from I guess you could say controversial ending to some people, but I think they got a chance.
That's fair.
They got a chance with his name is slipping my mind right now from OG. But
Mr. White?
Oh, Mr. White, yes, Colin White. He put up a great effort there. I think he had 11 points in the first quarter, something like that, to lead the way. But Colin is, I think they're going to lead to a state championship this year after falling in the final.
Yeah, great fundamental team and a lot of fun to watch. Let's talk about what we saw at Canton now, too. Division 4. We had Colonel Crawford going up against Downton. The Eagles, of course, they were a defending district champion. In Division 3, they moved down a level, and they had to go toe-to-toe with a Bulldog team that had made a little bit of history, hadn't been at that level in the tournament in over 20 years, but Bulldogs would come through, and what a great game that was. I remember Downton got up early in that one. I think they were up 10 in the first quarter, and then Colonel Crawford, they got out their chisels. They were coming back. They hit a big three midway through the fourth quarter, and they actually took the lead for the first time in that one. But you got to give a lot of credit to the Bulldogs going up against a team like Crawford, who traditionally, they're getting to that round in the tournament quite often right now. They had a sophomore step up, make 2 big free throws at the end of the game, and then some of their big guns that you expect to play well, they did, and got them into the regional title game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Dalton team that started off slow in the season, but peaking at the right time. That's what you want to see in the in the state tournament and tournament time, anytime at the regular season too. But they peaked at the right time after dropping some games, started going on a roll, had things go their way during the tournament too. Knocked off a really good JFK squad that people were thinking was going to be in the regional, playing either Lucas or Colonel Crawford in that regional, but they ended up pulling that off and then going up against the best team in Ohio in Richmond Heights.
Yeah, so real quickly, I do want to salute Braxton Baker, Jacob Maddie for Colonel Crawford playing in their final games. They were dynamite. They both led the way with 16 points each, but it just wasn't enough to get up over the hump as Braylon Wenger and company of the Dogs, they move on to the game against probably the best team in the state, regardless of division. Dalton had to go up against an undefeated buzzsaw that was Richmond Heights, and they would lose that one 81-48. But the Bulldogs, remember, they came out and took a 5-0 lead, and it looked like they were at least going to be up for the challenge, and I think you really do got to credit them. Outside of the third quarter, Dalton was kind of in it. They were at least absorbing the punches, and they were throwing some counter strikes.
Well, remember the midway point of the second quarter is about 19, 21 points, but then they started fighting back again. There was 5 straight possessions that Richmond Heights could not score on. They go down. They cut it to 12. Then Richmond Heights got a bucket, and it looked like they were going to get another big bucket right before the buzzer, but I think the block of the tournament so far sent the Bulldogs into the break, feeling pretty good about themselves, and I just hats off to them. What an effort against a Richmond Heights squad that beat the number 1 team in Division 1. They beat some really good squads, but Dalton went toe-to-toe, except for maybe a total of 7 minutes in that game. Yeah. Dalton was right with them, so you got to give them credit. They deserve to be in that spot, and if we were saying before this, if Richmond Heights had one more boy, they would be in Division 3, and maybe we're seeing Dalton playing in the state Final Four now, because if you take Richmond Heights out of that regional, Dalton deserving of being a Final Four team for the first time since 1996.
Yeah, Wenger, 25 points, 11 rebounds. He was one of the few that went right at the Spartans all night, so I did appreciate that about him, the big 6'7" frame, and he never backed down. But Jeremy Wilson, just too good. He had 21 and 12. He scored 47 points in 2 regional games, and what's fascinating to me, that starting 5 is so good, he only averaged 11 points per game during the regular season. Yeah. And then when the big spotlight was on him, he was like, you know what, I got some mismatches in my favor. any one of those starting 5 kids for Richmond Heights. I mean, they could be a star pretty much anywhere else.
Well, their point guard doesn't average double figures scoring, 8 points, but 9 assists.
Monster.
That still blows my mind that you have a player that averages 9 assists per game. But I guess for the squad that puts up 100 points, 90 points, 80 points in the tournament, you're going to get that. But just a complete squad. And I said I bet they could make a regional in Division I if they played a full D1 schedule. But
well, you know what? Let's hear from somebody who had to kind of game plan and figure out a way to navigate going up the beast that is the Spartans, and a coach that led Dalton, as we said, to their first district appearance since 2002. To put that in perspective, Travis, I was still in high school back then.
I was a freshman.
You see these gray hairs coming in, so it's been a little while.
Yeah.
But Justin Greenfelder, we got him joining us right here and now. So, Coach, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hi, guys. How you doing this afternoon? Thanks for having me.
we're good.
Yeah, everything's good out here. It's nicknamed Sunny Mansfield, but I look out the window and all I see are just big drops of white coming out of the sky. Like, what is going on out here?
Yeah, I'm in Canton. You could probably see behind me is my window here, and it's been snowing all day here too. So much for springtime in Ohio.
Well, tell me about kind of the reception of the community. You guys make history, of course, this last year with the Bulldogs over these last couple of weeks. What's it been like to be a part of Dalton basketball?
You know, it's cool. This has been my first year out in Dalton, and just kind of getting to know the community and the people there and how much they love sports and basketball especially. And they've had a good tradition out there for many years. They went to the state tournament back-to-back years in the 90s, back when I was in high school and had a little bit more hair than what I do now. And, you know, they have a lot of league titles, but I got to tell you, when I walked into that gym after getting hired the first time, you know, I looked up at the banners on the wall, and I didn't see a district title since 2002. It just shocked me. And that's one of the things that I really focused on with these kids, was getting them to believe that, having success in the league is great, but that tournament run, getting to the districts and the regionals, that's where the memories really come from. So the community got behind us. They traveled out to Struthers for our district, which is about an hour and 40 minutes away. We had a great following out there. Had a great showing from Canton for our 2 games. So the community was excited. They really carried us through a couple games. We really appreciated it.
Let's talk about Struthers real quick, because in the JFK game, something really unusual happened. I mean, it was a really tight one, and then the electricity went out. So tell me about, like, having to go back and warm up and get ready for a game when it was like the Super Bowl that we saw from the Ravens and the 49ers a few years ago, where just everything went dark.
You know, and we were on a roll kind of at the time that happened. We had taken the lead. We were trailing at the start of the fourth quarter. We had just taken the lead. We're up by 4. JFK makes a bucket. There's about 4.5 minutes to go, and we're up by 2. And I'm talking to the kids in the timeout. We're talking about, you know, possession of the ball and getting good shots and sitting down and getting stops, and all of a sudden the lights go out. And nobody really knew what was going on or what happened. There was a storm that day, and the winds were heavy. And the first thing I thought of was, we have an hour and 40-minute drive. I'm not coming back tomorrow to play 4 minutes of basketball.
All right.
So, you know, we talked to the tournament directors, we talked to the kids, and basically we decided, you know what, look, we're just going to stick around as long as it takes. Luckily, it was about 10 or 12 minutes was all it took for the lights to come back on. But the police officer there tells us, well, we have no guarantee that the lights are going to stay on. They could go out any minute. So do you want to start again knowing? And I asked my kids, and they said, yeah, absolutely, let's go.
Sure.
Asked them, do they need to warm up? Nope, we're ready. Let's go, coach. So no warm up, got back out onto the floor, and we finished that game on a 13-2 run to finish off our first league title in 21 years. So it's a heck of a story, and something I think our kids will be telling for many years too.
No question.
Well, another great story about your season, Coach. You guys don't start off on the right foot. I think you lost 5 of your first 7 games, but after that, you guys got on a roll. Just what changed from those first 7-10 games to, you know, being able to peak at the right time and make a run?
Well, 2 words: Braylon Winger.
Yes.
Braylon, the first 6 games of the season. Braylon suffered a really nasty injury in a scrimmage at the beginning of right before the season started. And we weren't sure if he was going to come back at all. And, you know, he came back slowly. He was able to get back into some non-contact stuff after a couple of weeks. His doctors cleared him for some contact right before Christmas. and he was cleared to go back and play right after Christmas. And his first game back was the game up at University School the Wednesday after Christmas. So he didn't play at all the first 6. And during those 6 games, we played Berlin Highland, who's in the state tournament. We played Akron-Hoban, who's in the state tournament. We played Smithville, who was a co-champion in our league. We played Uniontown Lake, a Federal League school, Division I, who I'm a Federal League guy by my history, so I'm very familiar with them. Really, really good team. So we had a meat grinder of a schedule those first 6 games, where we needed other guys to be able to step up. And even though we didn't win many of those games, guys like Jack Steiner, Brady Hignite, Quentin Lehman, Braden Fiesler, guys who you saw at the regional level and the district level really have to step up and make plays for us. They had to be the guys that carried us during those 6 games. And I think without that experience, without those guys having to shoulder more of the load for those first 6 games, we'd have never been in the position that we were in later in the year.
And I guess you could say it's a blessing in disguise then, getting those other kind of role players with Wenger in there, being able to get some quality time as like the number 1 guy to get a chance to play, and it did pay out. But talking about momentum right now, you guys against Richmond Heights in that final 5-0 start, you kept with them in the first quarter. Richmond Heights kind of seemed like they were starting to get their rhythm going there, going up, I think, 19 or 21 points. But you guys responded again, getting it down to, I think, 12. You had the big block at the half, but you had momentum on your side. Just what were you guys feeling at the half before coming back out there? But you guys went on a run. You cut it to 12, and you made it a game again.
I think we felt pretty good going into halftime. Like you said, I think we had cut it down. I think it was 14 at half. Braylon got that huge block. We were starting to create some space on offense and had found a little bit of a formula on how to score. Richmond Heights is so long. They're so aggressive. They make it hard to run offense. So we really were not able to get into a lot of our main half-court offense. But I think we had found something that had started to work. And we got some stops strung together at the end of the half here. So we felt pretty good. So at halftime, we talked about, okay, don't try and get it all back at once. Get this thing down, cut that lead in half. Get it down to 7 or 8 at the end of the third quarter. Because earlier in the week, we had talked about, look, these guys have not been in a number of close games this year. We have. If we can get this thing to single digits in the fourth quarter, the pressure transfers to them. They're expected to win. They're expected to win state. Nobody's expecting us to win this game. Nobody, except us. We're the only ones who believe that. So at that point, all of the pressure transfers to them. So we felt good at that point going into the third quarter about where we were. Unfortunately, the buzzsaw that is Richmond Heights showed up early in that third quarter, kind of like they did in the semifinal against Cornerstone. They scored the first 10 of the third, and it was just very difficult for us to come back from that. When you have to chase them, when you've got to start to pick up the tempo, which is what we had to do a little bit. So we had to start extending our defense. We had to try and trap. And it works here and there, but that's their pace, and we didn't really want to do that a whole lot. So I give a ton of credit to my kids. They fought really hard for 32 minutes. And like you're saying, I think other than that 6 or 7 minute spurt there in the third quarter, I feel like we were right there, as well as we could be considering the opponent that we were playing. So just really proud of my kids for how they played in that game.
Yeah, you probably are mostly pleased with the execution of your team, I would think, out there. I mean, you look at the final score, and that's typically not the case when it's a 30-point margin, but it really felt like you were delivering a lot of counter strikes. Just that team, they're on another level, Coach, and I think they really probably could win the state championship in any of the 4 divisions this year. So real quickly, give me some insight about when you first found out, okay, we're going to be playing Richmond Heights. How did you even start game planning? What was your first, 10 minutes of that process?
So you start to think about, well, can we even try to match up with these guys? How do my guys match up with their guys? And so after we watched Cornerstone Christian, who's a really good team, zone them up and try to play the game quickly, more at their pace. And you saw Richmond Heights just dropping 3 after 3 after 3. They're getting open looks. So then it became, you know what, do we pick our poison there or do we go with our strength? Our strength was a team that sits down and defends you man-to-man in the half court, that plays a physical brand of basketball. So I was able to get some film from Mogador, who played them in the district final. And that's what Mogador did to them. Mogador is known to be half-court man-to-man physical team. And Mogador played them within 20. So I watched that and I started to think, you know what, I think we can do that too. We had come off playing Colonel Crawford, playing Warren JFK, straight up man, just using our physicality to our advantage. So we thought that gave us the best chance. So talked to our kids first thing in practice on Wednesday that, hey, look, we are who we are. Okay, let's go get them. Let's go man them up. And I saw smiles on our kids' faces. I saw Jack Steiner, doesn't show much emotion ever, smiling at me like, yeah, let's go get them. Okay, let's see what we've got. And I think our kids really believed that we could guard them in the half court. So we talked about using our physicality and our length to our advantage. I watched them warm up. I told them pregame, Richmond Heights doesn't have a guy who weighs more than 180 pounds on its roster. I start a 250-pound, guy who's going to college to play football. Braylon Wenger is 215, 220. I got guys off the bench at, 260. So let's go get them. Okay, let's go, try to impose our will physically. That's about all you can do with those guys because you can't match their athleticism. You can't match their skill. So my hope is that Rushi this weekend can take some of that physicality and go get them. Berlin Highland, if they see him, I know they'll do that to him too. Convoy Crestview as well. So I'm rooting for those teams, and I wish them the best.
Well, yeah, really admirable the way that you went after him in that game, trying to utilize some of the characteristics that you felt like you had the upper hand in. So we definitely applaud you for that, Coach. And, a really successful senior class, 3 straight league championships. Braylon Wenger, of course, he was a stud, and you get to a place in the tournament where they haven't been in a really long time. So if you kind of put a bow on this and you sit back and you reflect, what do you think you're going to remember most about just the team as a whole, led by these seniors?
This team went through so much this season, and I don't have time to get into all of it now, but they gave me a lifetime worth of memories in, a few short months. It was just a joy to go to practice every day. I had a great senior class. And when you come in as a new coach in a new place, you're never quite sure how they're going to react to you, how the players are going to respond to you. And it starts with your seniors. And having a great senior class with some really mature kids, guys like Quentin Lehman, Jack Steiner, Ethan Stutz, who are natural leaders, and having a kid like Braylon, who not only is he just an exceptional talent, he's just an awesome kid. He's always got a smile on his face. He's always having fun. Yeah, he puts up huge individual numbers, but he's about the team. So having a group of guys that are team-first guys that accepted me, that bought into more of a defensive style of play than maybe what they had done in the past, that just meant the world to me. I broke down a little bit, emotionally in the locker room after the game, just thinking about how much those seniors meant to me personally, and how much I'm going to miss them. So, I told them that when they bring their families back to Dalton in the future, they're going to see 2023 up there for a league title, which, by the way, fourth in a row, not third. And first district title in 21 years. First regional final appearance in 27 years. It's going to be something, it's going to be a memory that they've created that will last a lifetime. So I love those kids. They had a great year, really proud of them and what they accomplished this year.
Yeah, they were definitely a treat to watch there in the tournament when we jumped on board and catching you guys at the regionals, Coach. So definitely the best way to earn respect in sports is to win and get those banners up on the wall. So you've been able to do that in your first year out there. So continued success out there with the Bulldogs. Keep doing big things, Justin.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. And I really appreciate your coverage here during the regional level. You guys did a great job.
Thank you for jumping on with us, Coach. Have a good day, man.
You too.
Yeah, always cool to hear stuff like that when things haven't been done in a long time with the program. Yep. Like he just said, the 27 years since they've been to an Elite 8 game, and it's just cool to have those memories, because right now, before this team, it was those looking back, remember the 90s and how much fun that was. Here in a few years, it's going to be like, remember Wenger and Steiner and the guys, and a few years ago, what they did, like how... Just, it's the best. It's what it's all about, man, the trophy case.
And they could say we went pound for pound, punch for punch with Richmond Heights, probably one of the best teams in the history of Ohio basketball, and we didn't let down. We didn't sit down. We went right through playing Dalton basketball, and we stuck with them for a good 25 minutes of that one, and we had them on their heels for a little bit. I mean, that's something you went out fighting, and that's exactly what they did. one of the final 8 teams in the state of Ohio in Division IV. That's something you can hang your hat on.
No question. Awesome performance by the Bulldogs, and then we saw some awesome performances by some KMAC athletes,
Yes,
Trav.
we did.
And I know that this is your wheelhouse, of course, so we're a little behind on this, but we want to recognize those that were the best of the best in the KMAC from the month of January. So the athletic directors, they each put in some nominees, one for the boys, one for the girls. So without further ado, we'll let the ladies go first because we're gentlemen around here on the OH Report. And here are your nominees for the KMAC Athlete of the month from January. So there it is, the ladies' top performers for the month of January. Pretty cool to see a wrestler in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. They competed down in Columbus for the first time, too, with the boys alongside them and a couple of good wrestlers. I know she was down there. A girl from Hillsdale won her first match before going down in the consolation bracket as well. So have some wrestlers around. I like seeing that. That's pretty darn cool that the OHSA has them as well as boys volleyball this year for the first time. Also shout out Madeline Elson sending the Lady Indians to their first ever district championship appearance. The KMAC Player of the Year up for it. So yeah, get out there and vote, folks. But we're not done.
No, yeah, we will post the girls as its own video on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and then you, the fans, get to decide who had the best of the best month of January. And here are now your nominees for the fellas. Definitely one on your side if things go bad. That's right, we've got some Tae Kwon Do junkies with us here today. Martial arts instructors, Chris and Natalie Hershberger. Give it up, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
So very kind of you. That's the first time I've been really honored to be called a junkie.
Hey.
I like that.
Okay, so it works out, at least for
Yeah,
this.
I'll take it.
Well, tell me, obviously you lots of martial arts going on all the time down on West 4th Street in Mansfield. Give me some insight, Black Belt, Pro Fitness. What all you guys got going on right now?
We have tons going on, but I'll give you the best of the best. Yes. Okay, so, we've been in business since 2018 on West 4th Street at Black Belt Pro Fitness. I've been doing this for 30 plus years, and we have a heck of a lot going on. First and foremost, we teach a very comprehensive martial arts education that involves striking, throwing, and grappling. My forte is clearly striking, boxing, Muay Thai, and Taekwondo, but we offer a lot for any child, adult, teenager that wants to come in and transform into the best version of themselves through martial arts training. And our fitness programming is, top notch. We have, personal trainers. We have transformation programs for people looking to make some major changes with habits and lifestyle. And so we try to offer a lot. We love our families at Black Belt. We see a lot of transformation, and we're super happy.
And my family loves it down there, too.
Thank you.
My son has a great time. He's been going there for over a year now, and definitely always speaks very highly of it. And I've got some major changes that I need to get in my life, Chris. So we're going to talk about that after
Absolutely.
the program today.
Yeah, we love MJ. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, appreciate that, too. Well, hey, Natalie, I know that you're running the social media accounts now for Black Belt Pro
Yes.
Fitness. So tell me about kind of morphing from being an athlete and a trainer to where now you're trying to present the company like in its best light.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot, especially the creativity that comes with like TikTok and making videos like that. I really do enjoy TikTok, as most people my age would say. But Instagram, Facebook's a lot of fun. It's a little harder to get yourself in there than it is TikTok, but I really do enjoy it a lot.
Like trying to get in touch with us older guys, whereas on the TikTok you kind of
That was a nice way.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's just different demographics.
Now, how much does Dad try to be hands-on with that, or does he give you kind of free rein?
He doesn't want anything to do with it. He'll remind me maybe once in a while, like, yeah, get something up. But other than that, free range. I work with my other coworkers a lot on it, so.
Is there an official Black Belt Pro Fitness dance on the TikTok that you guys have invented?
There's not, no. We did just hit the gritty, though, so I could tell you that happened.
It clearly was not me. I can tell. I want to clarify. I was not grittying.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're a gritty guy, so you don't have to get out there and
Thank
gritty,
you.
Chris. That's at least my excuse for not doing it. One thing that you do, hey, Chris is all about the kids, and you just published this. This is your second children's book, right?
Yes, sir.
So congratulations on this. This is called Winnie and Friends Black Belt Bound. I just had MJ, my 7-year-old son, read this to me last week, and we both loved it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
A lot of pages to get through for him. I think it took us a couple of hours.
Okay.
But it was awesome, and I love the message behind it. So give me some info about how first off, why Winnie the Pooh and Friends, and then why the concept?
So first thing, I'm a huge fan of Winnie the Pooh. Like I always have been. I read the books as a child. I love the animations by Disney. And I was reading an article in one of the many magazines and periodicals that I read, and it said that Winnie the Pooh is going open domain. And for those of you that don't know, that just means that the copyright protection is released from the original author, and that you have free reign on your kind of take on that particular character. And I thought, why not go this route? I'm always trying to think of creative ways to connect with children and get them to think about martial arts training. So since they already, are in touch with a beloved character like Winnie the Pooh, I thought, why not set up some sort of martial arts storyline behind this? And it was my second children's book. My first was completely, custom and original to me, but this one was, I feel, a lot more enjoyable because I could really tap into the characters and how they were portrayed originally, and then get a little bit of creative license on that. The messages in the book, I feel, are really positive for kids, and I just want them to know that, they can really put themselves out there and try some new things.
And this is the first of a mini collection that you're going to do with Winnie the Pooh, correct?
Yeah, this is a 10-book series, so I've got the entire thing written out. I'm working with my illustrator now. We're planning on having the next one available in about 3 months. I'd like to do 2 a year. That's kind of what I've fit the model into at this point. But it's a lot of fun creatively. Like I didn't think I would enjoy fiction as much as I do because I'm really a nonfiction reader. I love all the stuff, the sciences and psychology and that kind of stuff. But this has been really enjoyable for me. And I try to take myself back to when I was that age, like what was appealing to me. A little bit of action, adventure, some good lessons in there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to give.
A man of many layers, Chris
Hey.
Hershberger. He'll kick you in the head, and then he'll hit you right in the face with a good children's book. So make sure you get out there and get this. Where can people find this book?
So you can get it on Amazon right now. Our ebook will be coming out in a couple weeks, and we also sell them from our location at Black Belt. So if you'd rather support us locally, come pick it up, get a signed copy, you can do that, or you can order from Amazon.
All right. So Winnie the Pooh, definitely out of hibernation and doing his thing here for Chris Hershberger. And Natalie, you're out of hibernation
I sure
with your
am.
training. I can't tell you how excited I am to talk to you about you've actually got a competition coming up after about a 3-year hiatus.
I do.
So does it feel surreal? Does it feel like normal life again? Like what's all your emotions?
It feels weird getting back into it, especially after COVID and everything, when people thought that would be your life forever, was
Right.
when COVID was happening. So being able to get back into the tournaments and everything is very exciting. I'm very excited for it.
So getting back to where you're having to ramp up training, you actually have a goal in mind. There's a place
do.
that you're going to go. You got to kick other girls in the face.
Yep.
What was step one for you, kind of like getting locked in again?
Really just entering myself back into the world of Taekwondo. So watching videos, getting in touch with old friends that I used to train with, and really just familiarizing myself with it. And after that, just getting into training and working hard.
For anybody who may have forgot, please remind the folks at home like where you were at before COVID hit, and then you've been outside of competition in terms of being a competitor at your weight and your age class. Where did you leave off?
So I think I left last tournament, I was a junior, which was ages 15 to 17, and I'm now 19. So I think I was minus 63 kilograms, and I'm hopping back into that weight range still. So I've maintained that weight, competed at very high tournaments, 9 times national champion, and I got a lot going on. Too much to remember half the time.
Yeah, she's having a tough time recalling.
I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's been that long.
Too much to cover.
So for you, I think that you are widely regarded worldwide as one of the top, if not the top girl in your entire weight class. How cool is it to be able to have an opportunity now that you get to showcase that again?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm excited to get back to training hard and really show my potential.
And Chris, you're taking a step back now, right? You always were like her #1 primary trainer, and that's not the case anymore, correct?
No, and there's a part of me that's really grateful for that because, being coach was really hard while being dad. And so that relationship, those lines were blurred, I should say.
Yeah.
It was really tough to do. So I'm excited I'm still kind of managing the process, and I will be coaching her at times, especially in the beginning, because she's been out of this game for 3 years, and there are some that are in our sport who are going to be surprised to see her in Spain because her back injury really set her back, and many thought that she was done. So I think it's going to be fun to kind of see the reaction to, oh, she's back. That kind of thing. So from my standpoint, I'm really focused on keeping her motivated, making sure that she's going to the right tournaments because she has to acquire points from high-level world-class tournaments in order to qualify for the Olympics in 24 and 28. So we're really trying to be very strategic right now. But with her training, we do have, there's a primary coach whom is one of our trainers at Black Belt. His name is Daniel. And he's been training and sparring with her for, years now. And then I kind of step in and say, hey, maybe change this a little bit or do that. And we work out a couple times a month. But I think she's relieved to have, my face out of her face, as coach. Yeah. So. Yeah.
But now I have him as boss, so.
So
she cannot escape me. Yeah.
That's okay, though. Tell me a bit about your injury and what it is that you have been dealing with.
So I had a bone spur in my, I want to say it was lower
L2
range down there, so my lower back. So this happened 3 years ago at the start of COVID, so I've been dealing with that. I got a cortisone shot, I want to say 2 years ago. So I think another one of those is a possibility in the future, and just trying to really work it out because it tends to tighten up very quickly. So keeping it warm and just worked out is priority.
Okay. Do you feel like it's much of a hindrance to you at this point?
Not as much anymore as it was. I'm able to really fight through it, so that makes it a lot easier. Before it was like every little kick would hurt, and now I'm able to get through a workout pretty well. So I'd say I'm ready to enter back into the competitions and everything pretty well.
And it sounds like you got a lot coming up here. You've
I do.
planned out. You've got many big tournaments, but first and foremost is going to be Spain.
Spain, yep.
So what type of level of competition are you expecting to see there? Is this the best and brightest from around the planet?
Yeah, so this is a pretty high level tournament. So this is my first one back. So really get to go out there and feel it out again. I'm excited about it.
So for the global sport of Taekwondo, has there been like nothing going on up until now?
There,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
there has
Yeah.
been a few, but I'm just still getting back into it, so I wasn't able. Ooh, I hit the mic. I wasn't able to attend.
That right.
those.
She's ready to punch something. Yeah.
But I want to say until 6 months ago, I don't think there was.
Yeah, it's been
much
about half a
happening.
year, a little over that. And so many of the countries outside of the U.S. were not hosting tournaments because of COVID.
Sure.
So they really stretched it out, and we missed a lot. There were some things happening locally, but she was really on the, I would say, the mid-journey of getting her back healed. So she wasn't quite there. And we're in a good spot now with it. And I think she still has a lot more room for improvement there as well. She's dealing with pain. There's not much we can do with it because they can't remove it with surgery because of the position of it in the spine. And they just have to keep the inflammation down.
So give me a best case scenario. Say you go over to Spain, you compete, and everything goes well, pain-free type of thing. What are the next steps? Where are you going to be competing, and where do you need to be by the end of 23 to ensure that you're like right where you need to be for the Olympics?
So after Spain, I know that there is Nationals in July, which is the tournament everyone attends. So that one, and then Korea in August, and then Brazil in September, which is, I'd say, the biggest one out of all those competitions.
Nice.
It's the President's Cup. So essentially, each tournament in Olympic Taekwondo has a numeric value. And if you go to some of the opens, like the Spanish Open, it would be like a G1. That's how they classify it. You get so many points for a G1. The one that's in Rio de Janeiro is a G4, which gives her a ton of points.
Gotcha.
So going into 24, she has to be positioned with so many points, and then they have an Olympic qualifier.
Sure.
And at that point, it really matters, of course, because she has to qualify her division, with that tournament. And in order to guarantee that she goes to the Olympics, and this will be very challenging because of the nature of the time, she needs to accumulate a ton of points. Because if you get into the top 6 in the world rankings, you automatically go to the Olympics. If you're below that, you can qualify the division at the Olympic trials, but your national governing body can decide not to send you. So there's a little bit, some politics behind that. So we're trying to strategize the best way to do this since, we're kind of on the heel of an injury and trying to make the timing work as best as possible.
So is your mindset going into this competition in Spain, is it basically gold medal or bust because that's what you're used to experiencing?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have a little bit more leeway for yourself coming off injury and 3 years off?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always aiming for first place, so
Duh.
that's never leaving my mind. But I have accepted that if that doesn't happen, I know I have limitations, and not that that's like an excuse or anything, but that's definitely something that plays into it. But I am
Sure.
planning on getting the gold.
Always that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. So excited that you're getting back into competition because I know that you're the best that we have, maybe the best
Thank
athlete
you.
that we have from around the Mansfield area. So we need our best and brightest out on the world stage showing that you're that
Yeah.
number one in the entire planet. So we'll definitely be rooting for you. We're going to be keeping an eye on you for sure.
Thank you.
Maybe we can make this like a monthly thing.
Yeah.
Check back in here on the OH.Report podcast, and we'll make sure that everyone knows what's going on with Natalie and Chris and everything down at Black Belt.
We'd appreciate that. And thanks, OH.Report. Thanks for your support.
Always.
Yeah.
All right. Chris and Natalie Hershberger from Black Belt Pro Fitness. Natalie, about to hit the world stage. And then Chris, he's always down on 4th Street. So if you need to get trained up, got your kids or whatever,
Bring it on.
You're probably going overseas too, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to. Yeah. I'm actually coaching her for the first couple, but after that, it's going to wean me off. So, but we're excited. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Very rarely, Brian, do we get to talk to an Olympic hopeful, but very rarely do you get kicked in the chest by an Olympic hopeful, as you remember a couple
Have you
of
recovered?
on the show.
Are you the
I think
same?
I still have a dent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I still have a little bit of a dent in my chest, but best of luck to her. I'm happy that she's able to get back and into it because I do think she has a chance of making the Olympic team.
I think better than a chance. At last, when she left off, she's so humble. She wouldn't really say, but she was number one in the world at her weight class. She's the best.
Phenomenal. Well, I guess you got to say Taylor Huff too if she makes the Olympic soccer team. But
Yeah. Ooh,
we're
that'd
lucky
be
here-
sweet.
We're lucky here at the OH.Report.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah, but you know who else is lucky? There's going to be one of these 64 teams that's lucky, as Brian and I are now going to
Woo,
we're
baby.
going to try and break down the brackets, write our own bracket, and you the fans out there, we're going to create an ESPN bracket account. Fill out your brackets, go in there, and we'll see. Can you beat us? Because, we've been watching a lot of basketball, a lot of college hoops here lately. So you want to get into this right now, Brian, and we'll fill this out. Let's start in the Midwest. Houston, the #1 seed. Is there going to be a #1 seed that's going to lose?
Not this year, buddy.
No. So
Put up that chalk for Houston.
Okay, Houston. H-O-U. Auburn, Iowa, 8-9 matchup. I actually like Auburn in this.
Interesting. See, yeah, I've been watching a lot more Big Ten basketball this season, and I personally would favor Iowa. So maybe Rochambeau for it? Best out of 1?
I don't know. Well, you going by that 11-point comeback on Michigan State? Is that one of their...
Well, I mean, they got a coach's kid. They've got some good size on the inside, and they got dudes that can shoot it on the perimeter. My only taste of Auburn this year was not a good one. They kind of got sauced in the game that I got to watch from start to finish.
Was that the West Virginia game?
That was the game that Charles Barkley was at, and it did not go so well for the Tigers.
35 in that game. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Okay.
Looks like Iowa's moving on.
I don't mind that.
Now, this next one's kind of a tough one. Miami is a really veteran team, but then Drake, I mean, it kind of doubles as a great artist, too. And then, 38% of the time, that number 12 seed wins. So this is a tricky one.
12-5. Is it just because Miami beat North Carolina in the season?
Why do I have to talk about this?
I mean, is that why?
Yeah, I'd probably favor Miami. They do have a really good senior class. They got some older players, some veterans that you would expect them to be playing in that second game.
Okay, yeah, Miami. I like Miami. Yeah.
Book it. Are we going to do a microphone update?
I think I might need a microphone.
All right, so it looks like now we're moving on.
Now. Old school with the microphone. You got me back there, Adam. Check 1, 2. Not yet. Anyway, so Indiana and the Fighting Andy Jardies.
Yeah, I don't.
There's no chance, right?
There's no chance here.
You gotta go with Indiana, right?
You got to.
Great for Kent State. What a run to win the MAC championship. But that's gonna be the last win.
What's Indiana do? Corn and basketball. Move them on.
Yeah, I mean Hoosiers for Pete's sake. Like, yeah, Indiana. First one of the play-ins. We'll do the play-in first, and then we'll select Iowa State beating them. But Pitt, Mississippi State, you know who I'm gonna pick just because it's Pitt. I will never pick Pitt. So, do you think Mississippi State or Pitt's gonna win that one?
I don't. I really like Iowa State. They've got that awesome sharpshooter. The little white boy can really play, and then they've got some good guys on the interior, too. I really like Iowa State. I think maybe even a fraction underseeded, considering they came from that really deep Big 12, and they had some big wins.
Yeah, they're a good team. That was actually the win West Virginia got into the tournament on, was beating Iowa State on the road one of the last games of the year. So, I mean, Big 12's stacked. I mean, I don't know. They could have 5 teams make a Sweet 16. It's just that good for them. But they're going to play Xavier or Kennesaw State. I know you've seen Kennesaw State play.
I just watched them once in their conference tournament championship, and they looked good in that one. I believe they have home court advantage, though, for that game. Not going to be the case for this one. You got to put Xavier and the Musketeers moving on.
Yeah, easily. I don't see Xavier having any type of fight from Kennesaw State. First intriguing matchup for me, 10-7. It's a battle of conference tournament runners-up. Texas A&M lost to Bama. Penn State, if they didn't travel, probably had a shot at the win of beating the #1 seed in Purdue. This is a tough one for me.
Penn State is such a wild card because they let it fly from downtown. They are the epitome of live and die by the 3. So if they're making their trifectas, I love them. I think the Nittany Lions are a great team. When they're a little bit cold, like we saw for most of the game the other day in the Big Ten championship, it's a tough one. But I think I do like the Nittany Lions to do just enough to get by and knock off an SEC team.
Okay, I'll agree. I'll agree with that. Penn State moving on. Texas Colgate, good toothpaste. Don't know about the basketball against the Texas squad.
Yeah, they're going to be brushing their teeth down there in Horn Country, big time.
that's the first bracket. Midwest bracket's complete. Iowa, Houston, Miami, Indiana, Iowa State, Xavier, Penn State, Texas. Pretty much shocked except for one upset. So there we go. Let's go down. Do you want to break down the bracket itself, or do you want to from top to bottom? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's keep going down. Let's get all the first round games out of the way. So Kansas, go ahead and put them into the next round. We're not going to see any 16 teams moving on this season.
This is another one. I think I like Illinois in this one over Arkansas.
And this is another one where I kind of like the other team. Arkansas is just they're faster. Illinois, to me, they would have to have a good shooting day to keep up. So do we got to settle this like men one more time? All right.
Oh, looks like Arkansas. St. Mary's, VCU. VCU came back to beat Dayton in the conference final. St. Mary's, they beat Gonzaga once this year, correct?
Yes, they did.
So
Yep, they got the #1 seed in the WCC tournament, and then Gonzaga, I believe, went on to win that thing. I don't know. I like the Gales, but then also you're really tempted. Anytime you see that 5-12, you just get that little inkling like something's going to happen. So I would not be sad if you put VCU moving on.
I don't think that's the 5-12 that's going to happen, though. I think St. Mary's might make a Sweet 16 this year. Yeah.
Move them on.
Move them on. St. Mary's. All right.
Relatively upset-free so far on our bracket.
They call shock in the business, Brian. UConn and Iona. UConn made a run to the Big East semi, the semi before falling. I think it was the Xavier or Marquette, one of the two. But that's Effie James' squad. I think he's looking for their score during the tournament. Iona, they got a chance.
I'd give them better than a chance.
Really?
I'm not that high on UConn this year. Have you watched much of the Huskies?
Eh.
And maybe it's just a bad taste in my mouth. When I have watched them this year, they have not been victorious. So I would be cool picking an upset on this one.
13-4. That happens every once in a while. Okay. Let's do that.
Shake it up a little bit, right?
Iona and Iowa both moving on. Another Big 12 school, TCU the 6 going up against Arizona State, Nevada. Arizona State had a run in the Pac-12 tournament before falling to Arizona in the semifinal. Nevada, the final team in, over top of Rutgers. That was the one team I think that Joe Lunardi did not get right. He had 67 of the 68 teams in. He had Rutgers instead of Nevada, but that's your playing in Dayton, Arizona State, Nevada. I think I have Arizona State winning that. But do they knock off TCU?
Probably not. I mean, TCU, gosh, they played so many good teams this year just in the conference that you talked about. From top to bottom, Big 12 was the best of the best. I really think the Horned Frogs are going to be moving on. I could even see them winning another game.
Yeah, TCU, I'm in agreement. Like I said, I think there's at least 5 Big 12 teams that are going to play in the Sweet 16. The other WCC squad, Gonzaga, 3 seed, against Grand Canyon, known for their Grand Canyon. That's I know about GC.
I think so.
And their commercials. I've seen GC commercials. That's it. Zags easily.
Yeah, you got to give that
Drew
nod.
Timme, I mean,
He's going to want to get deep in the tournament again this year. They've got all that experience. Mark Few, I mean, one of the most consistent coaches that we have in college basketball. That's an easy pick. This next one, though, I don't really have an inkling one way or the other.
I don't know either. Northwestern, second ever Big Ten appearance. Just a quick mic check. Is the headset working?
You've been talking.
Okay, so I'm just taking this off since I'm going to be heard that way, just so I can hear Brian better. But Northwestern's second appearance ever in the NCAA tournament, going up against Boise State, who lost to Utah State in their conference title game. How about Vegas having 4 conference championship tournaments at the same time?
Well, what other city would you want it to be in?
How would you like that? If just a casual fan, you're going to Vegas first, and then you can just jump around the city to go to multiple. The Pac-12 played there, the WAC played there, and 2 others. But It's a tough one. I think I'm just rooting for Northwestern just for the story again.
Yeah, that's fine. I've seen them play really well this year. I've also seen them lay some eggs. So it depends which Cats team shows up. Let's hope the good one.
Okay, well, Northwestern. And have them playing UCLA?
Dig it.
Yeah. Northwestern.
And then you can just go ahead for my money. UCLA, dude, they're
UCLA?
deep, they're fast, they shoot it.
I can see that.
Neither Boise or Northwestern's going to beat them.
UCLA Zags? You think?
Ooh. Gonzaga's been inconsistent a little bit this season. I could see TCU with the potential to win, but I ain't going to pick them. I think you're right. The Fighting Mark Fuse get it done.
Okay. All right, St. Mary's, Iona, Kansas, Arkansas.
You know, I do love that matchup of the two smaller schools competing for a chance to go to the Sweet 16 with St. Mary's and Iona. Could it be one of those true Cinderellas with a 13 moving on? I mean, we see it just about every other year. I don't think this time, though. St. Mary's, they've got a good complement of athletes. I would like the Gales in this matchup.
Okay. I have Kansas beating Arkansas.
Yeah, let's get that matchup.
Give Hayden his credit for that work.
Yeah, and we do got to give a shout out and some love. Our own Hayden Gray with the excellent handwriting here.
I mean,
His contribution today.
We'll talk directly into it. Yeah.
I mean, it's really nice handwriting. Even better on the backside as well. And that was the second. That was the second set. Yeah, on the board. The board, Adam. The board. But even better writing on the second half of the brackets too. Yeah.
So Penn State, Texas, come on, dude. Texas.
Penn State?
Nah, not in this one. I love Texas's guards. They got about 3 guys that can just put you on your heels and get right by you to the cup. I'm a big fan of the Horns this year.
Okay.
I know you don't want to pick them because what they've done to your Mountaineers.
It's all right. I mean, Texas is good. Even after what they had to go through with their coach and everything like that, and still to be able to be better the second half of the year. They beat Kansas in the regular season finale.
Yeah, that's a big game.
And then they beat them? Did they beat them in the final?
Yeah.
By 20.
Yeah.
They boat raced them. So, yeah, they're playing good basketball at the right time. So, Texas, Xavier? Or you think Iowa State's going to knock them off? I think Xavier got it.
Go some chalk.
I don't know.
Little 2-3 matchup. Iowa State's they're a tricky team.
They are. That's another thing about the Big 12 schools is, did they beat each other up in the regular season enough that they still have enough in the tank for the tournament? That's the question.
Wouldn't be so worried about that. Sometimes you just, when you have these, what you consider an elite conference, were they as good as you actually thought they were because they've been beating each other? I think that it's a little bit different debate than are you coming in and you've been beat up on. We'll see. I like Xavier. I like a lot of what they do. Sean Miller and company, good coach, good program. Been playing really well here towards the end of the season.
Yeah, and it's an open tournament too. There's no clear-cut favorite. There's about 7-8 teams that can easily run through here, but there's not that number one team like when Kentucky was undefeated, Wisconsin as well that year. This is an open one, and you might see like a North Carolina, an 8 seed make the championship game or something like that. But I don't see Miami moving on, and I don't see Iowa moving on. I think it's Houston, Indiana.
Book it.
Okay.
I saw Houston's actually, according to Vegas, the odds-on favorite to win the entire tournament. But I don't know that I see them even getting to the Elite 8. What say you?
I mean, Memphis should have beat them at home if it wasn't for a buzzer beater, the regular season finale, and then they did handle Houston in the conference championship. I can see Indiana. I can see a little Bob Knight come out and
give the nod to the Hoosiers?
Yeah.
All right, give me some Hoosiers.
Indiana, Xavier.
Ooh, I don't think I'd pick Xavier over Texas, though. It's all about what have you done for me lately, and Texas definitely, they're starting to hit that stride right now. And then,
KU.
I mean, give me the Blue Bloods, right?
Yeah.
Don't you want to see Kansas match up with UCLA?
I don't want Kansas going past the first weekend, but they're good enough. I think it's them and Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga knocks off UCLA. I think Timmy goes off.
Ooh.
Double-double, 20 and 10. I mean, UCLA is a really good squad. From the first four to the Final Four 2 years ago as well, and they got those guys back, some of them. But I think it's going to be Kansas and Gonzaga.
Yeah, my best friend growing up, he went to Gonzaga. I had quite a number of people that I know in my personal life that they're Bulldogs, so I cheer on the kennel. Love to see him get that matchup with Kansas. But ain't no way that I'm picking against Wilson and Dick and them boys over there at KU if they match up with the Zags. Just too good. That's probably going to be my champion pick.
Are we going to get a repeat of the Big 12 championship game as well? Texas, Kansas?
I think a lot of America would sign up for that one. I know I would. I'd be happy to watch it.
Just put 4 Big 12 teams in the Final Four. Why not, you know?
Oh, Andy Jardy's tuning in, I guess, and telling us how much he hates our bracket already. What?
Because
does he have Kent State winning it?
Because Kent State.
This is his.
Oh.
I was just giving you if you wanted some.
He has what? Kent State winning it all?
No, he had him winning a game, though. So, hey, we appreciate your fandom, Jardy. We all know Indiana's better. But that's cute. It's cute that you did that.
We'll work on ours.
Okay. Anyway, Kansas gets Texas finally.
Man, what a great rubber match. Actually, Texas has won 2 of the 3 this year.
Yeah.
So it's not even that. Can Kansas settle the score and get to a championship game? It's been a long time for Texas. You got to go back to Kevin Durant days.
Yep.
Where they've made big runs like this.
And mind you, Kansas is the defending national champion.
Yeah, they kind of broke my heart last year, so I'm cool hooking horns right here.
Okay, I don't want to see Kansas make it past the first weekend, so I'm fine with Texas.
So there we go. So we've got Texas emerging from one side of the bracket. Who will they face to determine a winner of college basketball? Dun, 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 dun. Let's get to the backside of our bracket. Oh, that is a good-looking backside. Hello.
And don't even ask. I already got West Virginia moving on. Speaking of,
Oh.
Mountaineers and Maryland kick off the tournament 12:15 on Thursday, so I'm going to be a little busy between noon and about 3 o'clock on Thursday, just to let you know. But,
Okay. So your day's spoken for.
the number 1 overall seed, Bama.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me Bama. But I'll tell you this. I don't know that I love San Diego State as a 5 seed. I feel
know.
like they're really overvalued. However,
Charleston's been ranked.
I haven't watched Charleston this year, so I don't know. I've only watched San Diego State, and I'm just not that impressed. So
I could see Charleston. That's my 12. That was my 12-5 upset.
let's go with it. And then I got them playing Virginia, though Furman, a conference champion, a team you don't want to count out. I just think that the pedigree of Virginia, they've been doing it in the tournament. It seems, I know the last 16 seed beat them not that long ago. But if you can overlook that,
they went.
They figured things out after that.
Another interesting matchup, 11-6, NC State and Creighton.
Man,
I think North Carolina State, actually is a little underseeded.
Bringing you in, right?
well, as an ACC guy, I can't dispute that. So let's go ahead and move them on.
So right here, and then do we have UC Santa Barbara? Any chance at the Baylor Bears?
Baylor's just too big on the inside.
they're-
They've got such great length and size. Let's get that Baylor NC State matchup going.
Okay.
That'll be a fun one. And then after that, I could see Utah State pulling a fast one on number 7 Missouri.
I agree.
So we'll get one of our upsets going right there. Gotta be Arizona over Princeton. I watched Princeton game yesterday against Yale. Nah. Not a big fan.
One of the first major upsets of the tournament back, I think late 80s, early 90s, was Princeton. I think it was Arizona that they beat, actually,
Uh-oh.
but I don't think this time.
Do we get a deja vu?
No.
Not this go around? And then we start getting to the chalk again. Of course, you got to pick Purdue, regardless of who they play. Edie's he looks like a giant. He looks like a mythical creature when he plays.
He's just too good. Yeah, I said he was a hockey player. This is like his third year playing playing
like 12 feet
basketball.
tall on skates.
Well, he's. Look, I know that's crazy. That's a long hockey stick, but just that you have to be physical, really physical in hockey, and I think he's just bringing that to the basketball court.
How about the Fighting Penny Hardaways, man?
I mean,
they
are
great yesterday.
Conference champs. Beat Houston. They can beat Houston. They can beat Florida Atlantic. I got that.
I believe in Memphis.
But can they beat Purdue? We'll see.
Probably not. But as a very on-the-record Duke hater, I never picked Duke to win a game in the tournament unless they're the number 1 seed. So the fact that they're
listening,
5
Jardy?
against the 12, and Oral Roberts 30 wins on the season,
And
conference champion.
2 years ago they beat Ohio State. They beat Florida. They went an Elite 8 at least, or
That's like a 13 seed. So
yeah.
I'm all in on Oral Roberts.
Yep. Sorry, Jardy. Nope.
Filiposki can wait for another year. Well, he's probably just going to go straight to the league.
Duke used it all up in the ACC tournament, just getting themselves a high seed.
I sure
so.
hope
I think
so.
it's Oral Roberts.
Kill
Who are
them.
you?
Kill the Dukies. And I would have them play in definitely Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yep.
I think Tennessee is a number 4 seed. They're properly rated there, but they have potential to be one of the top better schools than that.
How about Kentucky as a 6th this year? They had a tough
They've been up
middle
and
of
down,
the road.
though.
Yeah.
They're a tough team to figure out because they looked unbeatable after they went through a little skid. Then I think they won 5 or 6 in a row. And then since then, it just hasn't been the Coach Cal team that you're accustomed to seeing. That being said, I ain't picking Providence.
No.
I think you got to go with the Cats moving on to at least the second game of the tournament. And I like it an all-cat showdown.
Yeah.
How about Kentucky versus Kansas State?
Kansas State, yeah. They were one of the underdog Big 12 teams coming into the season. They thought they were towards the bottom of the Big 12 conference, but then they started off, I think, 12-0.
Right.
Something like that. They were highly ranked. They were number 11 when WVU beat them later in the season at home. But great story out of Kansas State. Started, they weren't good back in the early 2000s until when Bob Huggins came for 1 year. Turned it around. Now look at them.
Now, according to us, moving on to a game where definitely winnable against Kentucky. Michigan State versus USC. I've got
Another 10-7. It's another 10-7.
no good read on this one.
I don't either.
I don't know what to think about Michigan State.
I mean, look what happened with Iowa. It's a team that they can't play a full game.
But I do love Izzo.
Yeah. Oh, Izzo's.
And they're playing with obviously a lot of emotion, what happened on
Yes,
campus there.
absolutely.
You know what? Maybe because of a couple of those factors, let's put the Spartans into the next game.
Against Shaka.
Where Shaka and Marquette will steamroll them. I got the Eagles flying into the Sweet 16. Yeah, what a story Shaka Smart is. Love that guy, his culture, his personality, and he's really left his imprint.
Well, that was what he was VCU from he was the first coach to do first 4 to the Final 4.
That's correct.
That was a great Cinderella run. We'll go from bottom to top since you already put Marquette in. Kansas State over Kentucky?
Nope, not for me.
No.
But it's gonna be a Wildcat.
Really?
That's my gut instincts on this one.
I think we need to. I think Kansas State.
There you go.
Up, Kansas State finally won one.
I think you're putting just a little bit too much stock in the Big 12. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes, like I said, maybe your conference looked great, but it was just because you were beating each other.
I can't root for Oscar Sheboy the way he left West Virginia to go to Kentucky, and yeah, I was really happy when St. Peter's just ruined his tournament last year, and Kansas State's going to do it again this year. Oral Roberts, do they?
Could you see a 12 seed moving on to the second weekend? If it was going to be one, I think they're at the top of my list. A lot of older guys on the team. They've played together for a while.
Some of those sophomores or seniors from when they made that run.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Purdue.
Edie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Purdue versus Oral Roberts matchup. And if we just want to go ahead and finish up the East down here, do you see anybody getting in Purdue's way? I would certainly think.
I think it's Purdue Marquette. I think we get a 1-2.
Step aside, man.
Yeah, let's get that. Let's get Purdue versus Marquette. And then I just like the Boilermakers this year. I've been sold on them since the first month of the season. I just think that they have all the pieces and parts that you would look for in a potential national championship caliber team, or at least a Final Four squad.
Okay, so Purdue, Marquette, Purdue. Okay. Oh, jeez. That's terrible.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Hayden, I am sorry. It did look beautiful. And sometimes fat fingers just get in the way. Like little sausages. Like those beanie weenies, though. Smothered in barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah. You have to have them in barbecue sauce.
Jason don't like it, dude.
Ugh.
All right. Up to the south. Utah State, Arizona.
Zona's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
I like them. I like that second-year coach and what he's been able to develop. Yeah, give me some more cats. It's all about the meow this tournament.
North Carolina State, Baylor. Baylor just out physicals them.
Yeah, they're big. They're dominant on the interior. Look for them to have definitely a rebounding advantage. Charleston, Virginia. I haven't seen Charleston, so
I think it's a one and done for Charleston.
you got to go with the ACC squad, right?
Just noticed they had an upset in the first round. West Virginia.
West Virginia's now. Adam just asked if there's an upset. West Virginia's actually favored right now by 1.5 points, despite being the 9 seed over Maryland.
So now
For the
what,
first round.
Travis?
Pitch
me your case here.
I got to bring it in, Ryan.
I don't know if I can even put West Virginia past Bama, because Bama's the overall #1 seed. But if those seniors that came back, I don't know. Stevenson needs 35 points like he did against Auburn, but I'm going Alabama.
Okay.
Bama's going to move on.
You've made the right choice.
Yeah. But if they do win, I would not be.
Drinks on me, buddy.
Woohoo!
Trying to hear how they were going to somehow pull off the NBA championship.
But when they do, I'm going to be all over Adam next time, because he thinks West Virginia ain't going to do nothing. He doesn't think they're going to get past Maryland, which I think they will. Bama, Virginia.
I like Bama. Every time I watch them, obviously they've got a really dangerous player. No pun intended there. Like a big time crazy scorer that potentially going to be
there.
the #1 pick in the whole draft.
Baylor, Zona.
That's where things really get interesting, right?
Yes.
This is where the cream starts to rise. You got the good teams all matching up. And I've been let down by Baylor on a couple of bets this year, but when I watch them, I like their team. I don't think Arizona's quite had the competition that Baylor's had.
I don't think anybody in any other conference had the competition that.
How about the Bears?
Baylor? Yeah.
Let's get a bear versus a big elephant. See who wins that matchup.
Who wins that matchup?
Well, we've got Big Ten representing the bottom. We've got Big 12 over on the other side. Is this the year that we really feel like the Big 12 is just that dominant, where they get 3 of the 4 teams?
I mean, I wouldn't.
I know that this is,
but
this is your area. I'll let you pick this one. You kind of give me Purdue just walking on one step at a time into the finals.
Well, I think if it would have been Tennessee, that'd be a much better matchup against Purdue. But Oral Roberts, just the story as well. If it's Oral Roberts, then Purdue's going by. If it's Tennessee, it's a lot better matchup, maybe where they don't make it past. But I'm going Baylor.
All right. So we've got Bears versus some Boilermakers. I just refuse to put two Big 12 teams into the title game. I gotta roll with Purdue here.
What is that, Brian?
Well, I just don't like the thought of Travis's conference really being the ultimate dominator. And it so rarely happens. I think only maybe one or two other occasions have three teams from the same conference been in the Final Four. It just does not go down very
No.
often. So I like Purdue versus Texas.
Yeah,
I think
I'll
that's a
take
fun matchup.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pick either school to win.
We
Now
have
that
to
now
pick
that we've
one.
got here, it's so
Does
unsatisfying.
Purdue mess with Texas?
I know they want to. I just think Purdue's got the biggest advantage of any team that's going to be in the tournament.
Unintended.
Yeah, they've got great shooting to go around a dude who just towers over the competition. He really does look like he's an animated figure out there. Edie's unbelievable. I think they're well coached. I'm rolling with Purdue to get that banner. So there you
I
have
agree.
it, folks. So that's Travis and I's bracket breakdown. We are going to put this one up on ESPN, and we'll make a little tournament that you guys can all jump in with us, and
Just
we'll
search
see if you're better.
OH.Report bracket. That'll be the name of it.
Yeah, we'll,
That'll be the
we'll
group.
post it. We'll
The
post it on
OH.Report
Facebook.
group. Make your bracket and yeah, see if you can beat us.
Probably won't be that hard.
No, we have too much chalk. I think there's going to be some upsets, which you'll love to see. I mean, I'm gonna sit myself down at B-Dubs in Ontario on Thursday at noon and probably not leave until like 7 o'clock.
So we're going to be getting a lot out of this guy on Thursday. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a successful week here at the OH Report.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll probably be there with him.
So yeah, you'll probably be with me on Thursday, but then who knows? We might be in Dayton on Friday. I don't know yet, but
we will find
we'll
out.
find out. The madness has arrived, though. Best
That's
time
right.
of year.
This really is.
Best time of year.
This is my favorite week of the year, my favorite weekend of the year, because just so many storylines can play themselves out. You get the smaller schools, and this is their opportunity to prove themselves. They've won their conference championship. Now they've gotten into the big dance. Can they continue to move on? Does the shoe fit for a Cinderella, or do the big schools bully them? We get pretty much both scenarios every single year. So when those two tie together, combined with, I know Travis and I were both Aries. Our birthdays come here pretty soon when things start to heat up. It's just a glorious time.
Mercury's in Gatorade.
Mercury's and Gatorade, Adam. Actually, West Virginia beat Duke on my birthday in the second round. If there's a team outside of the top three in each, a top three seed, to make it to a championship game, who would it be?
Oh,
You'd have the
what a
likes of
question.
Tennessee.
Just on this side of the
Kentucky.
bracket?
Well, yeah, I'll show you. I'll switch to the bracket after as well. But we'll make a championship game on this bracket. We'll say on this side. Anybody under a 3 seed.
As much as it pains me to say this, because I refuse to pick them, but probably Duke. Duke's actually pretty good. I just, my skin's crawling just saying that word, so I'm done with the 4-letter word. But
I would
probably them.
I think Kentucky, if they got hot. Even though it pains me to see Oscar Tshiebwe after the way he left, but I mean he was the player of the year last year as well. But if they can get going, I mean you can't count out Kentucky no matter where they're at. And then
I do love Coach Cal. Then on the other side, outside of the top 3, I've really been sold on Indiana. I was so disappointed that they lost to Penn State. I can't tell you. I really thought they were going to be Big Ten champions this year, and I was going to pick them to have like a real nice long push in the tournament like we have here, knocking off the number 1 seed in Houston. So for me, it's the Hoosiers. I just like their young players mixed with some of the veterans.
I don't know.
I mean, we don't even have UConn winning a game.
That's why I say like UConn as a 4 seed. Did they make one of those runs? They 2014 as a 7 seed they won the national championship. Yeah, Texas A&M. I'm gonna go with A&M, even though we don't have them winning, getting upset by Penn State, but they made a run to the conference championship, lost to Alabama, but that's mine. A&M.
All right, so let us know your upset picks as well, who you think are the best title contenders outside of the top 3, and we'll get our bracket posted
Well,
tonight.
mine's West Virginia, but I can't do that, so,
All right, Travis, well, if you want to say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
I think we've done what we came to do.
Yeah, that took way too long.